prove ourselves worthy of our desires, when all along the secret has been in a different direction entirely? What if everything you've been seeking, the abundance, the love, the confidence, the peace, isn't something you need to acquire, but something you need to remember? What if the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't a matter of distance, but a matter of perception? September is calling you to a higher way of being, not through more doing, not through perfect techniques, but through a shift in identity so fundamental that everything else naturally realigns around it. And it begins with just two words that when spoken from the right state of being can break the spell that's been running your life. If you're ready to permanently shift from chasing to embodying, from wanting to having, subscribe to this channel now. Each video is designed to deepen your relationship with the truth that everything you desire is already yours. But these two words aren't just another affirmation or mantra to add to your spiritual toolkit. What I'm offering you today is something far more profound, an invitation to step into a state of being so powerful that it will silently yet dramatically redirect the entire trajectory of your reality. This invitation isn't about doing more or trying harder. It's not about adding another technique to your already overflowing collection of spiritual practices. The journey of transformation we're embarking on together requires something much deeper than external action. It requires an internal revolution, a fundamental shift in the way you perceive yourself and your relationship with everything you desire. The mindset you've been operating from, the one that says you need to chase, prove, earn, and struggle before you can have what you want, has been running like an invisible program in the background of your consciousness. It's the hidden truth that's been shaping your experiences, often without your awareness. And until you address this core operating system, no amount of positive thinking or visualization will create lasting change. What if I told you that this entire program could be rewritten with just two words? Two simple words that, when spoken from the right state of consciousness, have the power to break the spell that's been running your life. These aren't magical words in themselves. Their power lies in the revelation they contain, the perspective shift they trigger when truly understood and embodied. But I can't just give them to you yet. If I did, your mind would hear them, but your being wouldn't receive them. And this journey isn't about intellectual understanding. It's about embodied knowing, the kind of knowing that rewires your nervous system and rearranges your energetic signature in the world. The decisions you make from this moment forward will determine whether these two words become just another concept you learned once or the catalyst for the most significant transformation of your life. This is why we need to approach them with reverence, with presence, with the understanding that we're not just playing with ideas, we're engaging with the very fabric of our reality. Now, I want to go even deeper into why most people remain stuck in patterns of waiting and wanting despite all their spiritual knowledge and practice. You see, there's a fundamental misunderstanding at play, one that even the most advanced teachers often miss. And it's this misunderstanding that keeps the gap between you and your desires feeling unbridgeable. The journey ahead requires courage, the courage to question everything you thought you knew about how manifestation works. The courage to let go of the familiar, even when the new feels uncertain. The courage to trust the process of becoming before you see external evidence. Write in the comments, "I'm ready to bridge the gap," if you can feel something shifting. Already, even before hearing these two powerful words, your readiness is the first step in this profound revelation. The gap that exists between where you are and where you want to be isn't actually filled by doing more. It's filled by accessing a deeper part of yourself, a part that already knows exactly how to create the life you desire. This wisdom isn't something you need to acquire. It's something you need to uncover, to remember, to allow back into your conscious awareness. Think about it this way. Beneath the surface-level mind that's constantly racing with thoughts, worries, and plans, there exists a deeper intelligence. This is the part of you that knows how to breathe without thinking, that keeps your heart beating, that orchestrates millions of cellular functions every second. This intelligence isn't confused about how to manifest what you want. It's already a master creator. But its voice has been drowned out by the noise of fear, the static of doubt, and the constant chatter of a world that profits from your disconnection. The journey we're embarking on isn't about adding more to this noise. It's about clearing the pathway to this deeper wisdom, this innate knowing that has been with you all along. The revelations you're seeking aren't found in more information. They're found in the silence between your thoughts, in the space where your authentic self resides. You see, there's a profound distinction between desiring results and becoming the cause of those results. Most approaches to manifestation focus entirely on the desire, making it clear, making it strong, making it specific. But desire alone is like a seed without soil. It has potential, but nowhere to take root. The missing element, the true catalyst for transformation, is your state of being. Your state isn't your mood or your emotions or even your thoughts. It's the frequency you're broadcasting at the level of identity. It's who you are being moment to moment. And here's the hidden truth that changes everything. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. It matches your state with perfect precision, like a mirror reflecting back exactly what's placed before it. So the breakthrough you're seeking doesn't come from wanting more intensely or visualizing more clearly. It comes from shifting your state of being from one who is wanting, hoping, and waiting to one who is already embodying the essence of what they desire. This subtle but powerful distinction is what separates those who continuously chase their dreams from those who naturally attract them. The mindset shift I'm describing isn't about positive thinking or forcing yourself to feel good when you don't. It's about recognizing that on a fundamental level, you are not separate from your desires. The very fact that you can conceive of them means they already exist within you as potential, as possibility, as seeds waiting for the right conditions to bloom. When you begin to operate from this understanding, everything changes. Your decisions become different. Your actions become different. Even your body language and the energy you bring into a room become different. Not because you're trying to change them, but because they're natural expressions of your new state of being. Write in the comments, I choose to embody, not just desire. If you're feeling the distinction between these two approaches and are ready to make this powerful shift in your own life. Let's examine what's really happening when you're trying to create change in your life. Your state of being, who you are at the core level of identity, is like a broadcast signal you're constantly sending out into the universe. This isn't mystical thinking. It's a fundamental principle of how reality operates. The frequency you embody becomes the magnet that draws experiences, people, and circumstances that match that frequency. Think about how this plays out in your everyday life. When you're in a state of lack, constantly focusing on what's missing, the world around you seems to conspire to show you more evidence of scarcity. It's not that the universe is punishing you. It's simply that your inner state creates a lens through which you perceive and interact with reality. And that lens becomes a filter that determines what you can and cannot experience. Subscribe now and join a community of conscious creators who understand that manifestation isn't something you do, it's something you are. The profound revelation here is that the mirror never lies. If your life feels like a struggle, if opportunities seem to pass you by, if abundance feels just out of reach, these aren't random circumstances happening to you. They're precise reflections of your dominant state of being. The journey of transformation isn't about changing the reflection. It's about changing the one being reflected. This is why affirmations, vision boards, and manifestation techniques often fall short of creating lasting change. They're attempting to manipulate the reflection without addressing the source. It's like putting makeup on a mirror and expecting your face to look different. The impact of this misunderstanding can be devastating, leaving you feeling like you're doing everything right but still not seeing results. Here's the missing piece that most teachers skip over entirely. Manifestation isn't about learning techniques to get what you want. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts what they desire, The techniques aren't the destination. They're just scaffolding to support your inner transformation. The true mastery comes when you no longer need the techniques because you've embodied the state that naturally creates what you want. Behind the scenes of every successful manifestation is a shift in identity that precedes the external change. Look at anyone who's created extraordinary results in any area of life. They didn't just use techniques, they became different. Their mindset, their energy, their presence in the world shifted first, and their circumstances followed as a natural consequence. This distinction completely revolutionizes how you approach creating change. Instead of asking, "What do I need to do to get what I want?" the question becomes, "Who do I need to be to naturally attract what I want?" Instead of focusing on the having, you focus on the being. And when the being is aligned, the doing and the having follow with an ease that feels almost magical. The journey we're on isn't about adding more tools to your manifestation toolkit. It's about recognizing that you are the tool. Your state, your frequency, your embodied presence is what creates your reality. And once you understand this, you'll never approach manifestation the same way again. Type in the comments, "The mirror never lies," if you're beginning to see how your inner state has been creating your outer experiences all along. This revelation brings us to a profound truth about your identity. Right now, you're carrying two versions of yourself within you. The first version is the one you're most familiar with, the one who's been diligently following all the rules, doing everything right, checking all the spiritual boxes, yet still feeling the frustration of not seeing the results you desire. This version operates from a mindset of almost there, believing that with just a little more effort, just a little more time, just one more technique, everything will finally click into place. But there's another version of you that exists simultaneously, a version that's been quietly waiting in the background of your consciousness. This version knows something the first version doesn't, that you never needed to wait, that you never needed to earn what was already yours by divine right. This version understands that the journey of manifestation isn't about becoming worthy enough to receive. It's about removing the barriers to what's already yours, the transformation. We're discussing isn't about creating a new you. It's about allowing this second version, this authentic self, to take over the driver's seat of your life. It's about making a decision to stop identifying with the one who's waiting and start embodying the one who knows. This shift in identification isn't something that happens gradually over time. It's a choice you make in an instant, a decision to step into a new paradigm of being. The hidden truth that Florance Scovel Shinn understood so deeply was that we don't actually create our reality, we remember it. This subtle but revolutionary distinction changes everything about how you approach manifestation. When you're trying to create something, you're operating from a mindset of lack, believing that what you want doesn't exist yet and needs to be brought into being through effort and struggle. But when you're remembering, you're acknowledging that what you desire already exists in a higher dimension of consciousness, and your job is simply to align with it. This perspective completely shifts the impact of your manifestation practice. Instead of pushing against reality, trying to force it to conform to your desires, you're relaxing into a recognition that your desired reality is already complete. Your journey becomes one of alignment rather than creation, tuning your frequency to match what already exists rather than trying to build it from scratch. Behind the scenes of every spiritual tradition is this same understanding that what we're seeking isn't something new or foreign to us. It's our natural state, our birthright, the reality that exists when we remove the veils of limiting beliefs and false identities. The path of manifestation is really a path of remembering who you truly are and what's already yours by divine inheritance. The mindset shift from creating to remembering feels completely different in your body. There's a relaxation, an ease, a sense of coming home to yourself rather than straining to become something you're not. And it's from this state, this aligned, remembering state, that miracles begin to unfold naturally in your life. Drop in the comments, "I choose to remember, not create," If you can feel the difference between these two approaches and are ready to shift from striving to remembering what's already yours. Now let's explore what might be the most powerful truth Florance Scovel Shinn ever shared with the world. She understood a principle that cuts through all the spiritual noise and gets straight to the heart of manifestation. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. This single sentence contains the foundation of everything that works and everything that fails in your life. It's the skeleton key that unlocks why some people seem to effortlessly manifest their desires, while others remain stuck in cycles of wanting and waiting. The distinction isn't in how badly they want something or how clearly they can visualize it. It's in who they're being at the core level of identity. Think of it this way. Your state of being is like a tuning fork vibrating at a specific frequency. That frequency doesn't attract what you're asking for. It attracts what it's resonating with. If you're being someone who believes they're still lacking, even if you meditate for hours each day and recite perfect affirmations, the frequency you're emitting is still lack. If you're being someone who hopes money comes soon, even if you journal every night about abundance, you're broadcasting the frequency of not yet, and the universe simply mirrors that back to you with perfect precision. The revelation that transforms everything is this. The solution isn't to want differently, it's to be differently. Not tomorrow when the check clears, not next month when the relationship manifests, not someday when you finally feel worthy. Now, in this moment, before any external circumstances have changed. This is where the real spiritual mastery begins. Anyone can want something badly. Anyone can learn techniques. But shifting your state of being without requiring external validation first, that's the work that separates conscious creators from perpetual seekers. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Your mind will fight it. Your body might even physically resist it. The old story that's been running your life will whisper urgently, "That's not how reality works. You can't just decide to be different without proof." But that resistance, that discomfort, it's actually the sign that you're close. You're poking at the identity you've worn like armor, the one that says, "I'm almost there, I just need a little more time, I'm doing my best." The decision point comes when you recognize that the version of you that's been waiting was built on a fundamental misunderstanding. The version that gets what they want isn't waiting for permission to be who they are. They're not waiting for evidence to feel how they want to feel. They're not postponing their state of being until conditions improve. They're being now and allowing the external to catch up. This journey of transformation requires a level of courage that goes beyond what most are willing to explore. It asks you to stand in a new identity before you have any external confirmation that it's working. It asks you to trust the process of becoming before seeing, to embody the frequency of having before the physical manifestation appears. Share in the comments, "I am what I attract," if you're beginning to feel the power of this principle and are ready to shift your focus from what you want to who you're being. When we look deeper at the version of you that's been struggling to manifest what you desire, we find something revealing at its core, a foundation built entirely on waiting. This old identity has been structured around the belief that what you want exists somewhere in the future, and your job is to qualify for it, to earn it, to become worthy enough to receive it. Every action you take from this mindset is tinged with the energy of not yet, and that waiting becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the version of you that effortlessly attracts what they desire operates from an entirely different blueprint. This version isn't waiting for anything. They're being. They're embodying the frequency of their desire now without needing external permission or validation. They understand that the journey isn't about becoming good enough to receive. It's about removing the barriers to what's already theirs. The transformation we're discussing is a revolutionary paradigm shift in how you relate to everything you desire. It's about recognizing that the waiting game you've been playing is actually what's keeping your desires at arm's length. The very act of waiting places your desires perpetually in the future, always coming, never here. But when you step into being, you collapse that timeline. You bring the future into the now through the doorway of your embodied state. This mindset, revolution doesn't happen through intellectual understanding alone. It happens through a felt sense in your body, a knowing that registers at the cellular level. And that's precisely why I haven't shared the two-word formula with you yet. If I gave it to you too early, you might hear it, but you wouldn't receive it. You'd add it to your collection of concepts rather than allowing it to rewire your entire being. The journey we're on requires you to prove to yourself that you're ready, not by doing more or knowing more, but by being willing to hold the tension of transformation without flinching. This willingness to sit in the discomfort of change, to feel your old identity squirm as it senses its foundations cracking, is the sign of true readiness. It's the indication that you're not just here for another quick fix or temporary high, but for a genuine rebirth of who you are. Behind the scenes of every profound transformation is this moment of tension, the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. Most people run from this tension. They distract themselves. They go looking for the next technique. They refuse to sit in the fertile void where real change happens. But you're different. You're still here, breathing through the discomfort, allowing something new to emerge. The revelation that's coming. These two words that will change everything. They land differently in prepared soil. And that's what we're doing now, preparing the ground of your consciousness to receive a truth so simple yet so powerful that it will reorganize your entire relationship with reality. When these words finally land, they won't just be words you hear. They'll be a frequency you embody, a truth you recognize rather than learn. The journey of embodiment requires patience, not the patience of waiting, but the patience of becoming. It's the willingness to allow the caterpillar to fully dissolve in the chrysalis before expecting the butterfly to emerge. Type in the comments, "I'm no longer waiting," if you can feel yourself shifting from the energy of postponement to the power of present embodiment. So here's what we'll do next. I want you to stay with me through these next few moments. Don't skip ahead mentally. Don't fast forward to the conclusion. Let your old identity sweat a little. Let it panic. Let it grip the walls of its crumbling comfort zone like someone desperately holding onto the edge of a cliff, not realizing there's solid ground just below their feet. This discomfort you might be feeling? It's not a warning sign to retreat. It's a breakthrough indicator. It's your old self-concept recognizing that its time is up, that the version of you that's been running the show, the one built on lack, on separation, on not yet, is about to be replaced by something far more aligned with your true nature. The resistance you might experience in this moment is actually a profound gift. It's the friction that creates the heat of transformation. Behind every significant evolution in consciousness is this sacred moment of surrender, the willingness to let what no longer serves you fall away, even before you can see what's coming to replace it. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding this discomfort. They build elaborate systems of distraction, of busyness, of spiritual bypassing, anything to avoid feeling the dissolution of who they thought they were. But the paradox is that this avoidance is what keeps them locked in patterns of limitation. The very thing they're running from is the doorway to their freedom. Your journey has brought you to this threshold for a reason. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still allowing this process to unfold, speaks to something deep within you that's ready. Ready to shed the old stories, ready to embody a new frequency, ready to claim what's always been yours. Now, I want you to take a breath, a real one. Close your eyes if you can. Let go of the noise, the mind spinning, the waiting, the how much. Longer until it finally happens. Breathe. Because what comes next only lands if you're still enough to hear it. Not with your ears, but with your entire being. You've been on the edge of something for a while now. This isn't the first time you've searched for answers. This isn't the first time you've felt close to a breakthrough. But this is the first time you're being invited to stop searching outside yourself altogether. The revelation that's coming, isn't just another technique or concept to add to your spiritual collection. It's a remembering so profound that it changes how you experience reality itself. In this stillness, can you sense it? That quiet knowing beneath all the mental chatter? That part of you that's never been confused, never been lost, never been separate from what you desire? That's the consciousness we're stepping into now. That's the frequency we're tuning to. That's the version of you that's about to take the driver's seat. The awakening that's unfolding doesn't require you to become something new. It requires you to recognize what's always been true. And this recognition doesn't happen in the noise of doing. It happens in the silence of being. Share in the comments. I embrace the stillness. If you can feel yourself dropping beneath the surface of your thoughts into that deeper place of knowing. In this stillness, a profound truth emerges, one that will transform everything if you're willing to receive it. The answer you've been seeking isn't out there, in more books, more courses, more techniques. It's not hidden in some esoteric teaching that you haven't discovered yet. The answer is inside you. It's always been inside you. And it's beautifully, almost shockingly simple. In fact, it's just two words. Two words that when spoken with full conviction don't just change your beliefs, they change your entire identity. They end the search. They end the waiting. They end the version of you that thought the prize was at the finish line of some spiritual marathon you've been running. Are you ready? Say these words out loud. It's already mine. Again, slower this time. It's already mine. Let those words sink in. Let them challenge you. Because something deep inside might resist this declaration. The old voice might protest, but I don't see it yet. But I don't have it in my hands. But my bank account says otherwise. Notice that resistance without engaging with it. You're not speaking to the past. You're not repeating the old identity. You are declaring what's true from a higher dimension of being. It's already mine. That is your truth now. That is your identity. This declaration isn't about denying your current circumstances. It's about recognizing a deeper reality that exists beneath the surface of appearances. When you say, it's already mine, you're not trying to convince yourself of something that isn't true. You're aligning with what's already true on the level of potential, of divine order, of your birthright. The revolutionary impact of these words comes from their ability to collapse time. Most manifestation approaches keep you locked in a linear timeline, working now for results later, planting seeds today for harvest tomorrow. But it's already mine operates from a different paradigm altogether. It steps outside of time and claims the completion of your desire in the eternal now. This might sound abstract, but the shift in your nervous system when you truly embody these words is anything but abstract. There's a tangible release that happens, a letting go of the striving, a surrender of the forcing. The shoulders drop, the breath deepens, the mind quiets, because something in your being recognizes the truth of what you've just declared. The journey of transformation is really this simple and this challenging. Simple because the words themselves are clear and direct. Challenging because they ask you to stand in a truth that your senses may not yet confirm. They ask you to be the version of yourself that knows before seeing, that claims before receiving, that embodies before manifesting. And that's the revolutionary decision point we've been building toward. Will you continue to wait for evidence before changing your state? Or will you change your state and allow the evidence to follow as a natural consequence of who you're being? Drop in the comments. It's already mine if you're ready to claim this declaration as your new operating system. When you declare, it's already mine, understand what's really happening in that moment. You're not speaking from the limited perspective of your past experiences or repeating affirmations to convince your conscious mind of something it doubts. You're actually declaring from a higher dimension of consciousness, a dimension where time is simultaneous rather than linear, where what you desire already exists in its completed form. This declaration is a radical departure from how most people approach manifestation. Most operate from the paradigm of linear time, working in the present to create a different future. But masters of consciousness like Florance, Scovel, Shinn understood that true transformation happens when you step outside of